vernier caliper, screw gauge, and measurement is understood. So it's basically we need to do work from the next chapter on, that is motion in one dimension and motion in two dimensions. So here it is. I'll take up few questions and then we'll move. So I was telling you in the last class that uh, we have these questions which are based on the laws of motion. So laws of motion and vectors. So you get quite similar concepts. Just that we need to work it out and then see how best we can. So here we'll take up a few questions and then see. So a particle moves such that its position, that is r vector, is equal to cos omega t I cap plus sine omega t j cap. Okay. Now then, which of the following is constant about the particle? So the following statements is true for velocity t, acceleration of the particle. So this is r. So if this is r, I can just find out the velocity of it. So velocity of it will simply be the differential of this. So it will become minus omega sine omega t I cap plus omega cos omega t j cap. Yeah. So the differential, so I got the velocity. Now if I do a dot product of this, v dot r, this will become sine omega t cos omega t. Yeah. So v dot r is equal to 0. So if v dot r is equal to 0, what can you infer? That v and r are perpendicular. Similarly, I can find out acceleration vector. Acceleration vector is equal to minus omega squared cos omega t I cap. This will happen minus omega squared sine omega t j cap. So basically you will see that acceleration vector is equal to minus omega squared r. Okay, so you'll see minus omega squared r. So here you see perpendicular. So this refers to basically circular motion. So the options v vector and a vector are both perpendicular. Yeah. So if you take a dot product here, dot product, this will become sine omega t cos omega t. This is also sine omega t cos omega t. Yeah. So v dot r is equal to 0. A dot v is also equal to 0. So yeah. So v and a are both perpendicular to r. True. V vector and a vector both are parallel. So these two are not parallel. Then again, so that's it. So this is it. Yeah. So whenever you get a question, basically we need to understand that velocity vector is equal to dr by dt. Similarly, acceleration vector is equal to dv by dt. Okay, so these are few small things that if we understand, it should be fine. Okay, then some more questions. A particle is moving along the x-axis. All these questions came in the paper, the January paper. So xt is given to you, xt as a function is given to you 10 plus 8t minus 3t squared. Okay, then they are asking yt is equal to 5 minus 8t cubed. Now at t is equal to 1, the speed as measured in a frame of the first particle is given as root v. So they are saying that a particle is moving along the x-axis with its coordinates given by this. Then another particle is moving along the y-axis with its coordinate given as this. They are asking the speed of the second particle as measured in the reference frame of the first particle. So they are asking velocity of the second particle with respect to the first particle. So this is what they are asking. So very simple. So velocity of the second particle with respect to the first particle is velocity of 2 minus velocity of 1. Now velocity of 2 is simply equal to the differential of this. So it is minus 324. So minus 24 t squared. So it is minus 24 t squared j cap minus, it will become 8 minus 60 I cap. So this is going to be equal to velocity So if I put t is equal to, they've given to you the t is equal to 1. So this will become minus 24 j cap minus, this will become 2 minus 2 I cap. So we can find out. So the net will become equal to root over of 24 squared plus 4. So work it out, you get your answer. So you work it out, you get your answer. So you'll get root over of 580. So if you get root over of 580, v is equal to, that is root v, then v will become equal to what? 580. So it was an integer question, you have to just press 580. So the technique here is basically understand the relative velocity. Relative velocity is nothing but v2 minus v1. So you just have to apply. There's another question here. Sum of two forces P and Q is R such that mod of R vector is equal to mod of P vector. So P vector, then the angle theta of the resultant of 2P and Q will make with Q is how much? The angle, so sum of two forces P and Q is R. So you have P vector here, you have R vector here. Sum of P vector, you have R vector is this. Okay, so this is Q vector, so this will be R vector. Then such that mod R is equal to P. So suppose these are two vectors with an angle theta here. So I can say that P squared plus Q squared plus 2PQ cos theta is equal to R. Now this is equal to P itself. So can I say that P squared plus Q squared plus 2PQ cos theta is equal to P squared? So cancel them. So you will get Q squared, Q plus 2P cos theta is equal to 0. Now this can't be 0. So Q is equal to minus 2P cos theta. This is one thing we'll remember. They're asking you the angle theta that the resultant of 2P and Q will make with Q is how much? So they're asking you for the angle. So with 2P and Q will make with Q is how much? Resultant. So root over of 4P squared plus Q squared plus 4PQ cos phi. This is the resultant. Okay, so they're asking you such that tan alpha or tan theta will become equal to the angle theta that the resultant so this is Q, this is 2P, this is the resultant of that. Okay, so this is, yeah, so please try to work this for two questions. We'll see it's a nice one. Two vectors, the sum of two forces P and Q is R such that mod of R is equal to mod of P. Now they are asking the angle theta that the resultant of 2P and Q will make with Q. So if this is Q, this is 2P, what is this angle they are asking? So to find out this angle, let us see what we can do. I can stretch this, I can find this out. I can say tan alpha is equal to, let this be, initially this was angle theta. See, what we have is we have a vector P, we have a vector Q, and this is the sum of the two angles. I mean, sum of the two vectors, P vector plus Q vector. Now this angle is theta. Then I can say that P squared plus Q squared plus 2PQ cos theta is equal to R vector. R vector is P square itself. So when you cancel this, you will get Q into Q plus 2P cos theta is equal to 0. So you will get Q is equal to minus 2P cos theta. Now they are asking, what is the angle? What is the angle that the resultant of 2P and Q will make? What is the angle that 2P and Q will make? So 2P and Q means you have this here 2P and this is Q. What is this angle? This angle theta. I mean, let's call this some other angle alpha. This is theta given to you. So they're asking about this angle. This is 2P and this is theta. So the angle that this will make is this will become 2P plus theta. Yeah, so if I drop the perpendicular here, this is Q, this is Q sine theta, this is Q cos theta. So I can say that tan alpha is equal to Q sine theta by 2P plus Q cos theta. 2P okay, this is what I can say. If I can say this, then I can say Q is equal to 2 minus 2P cos theta. So this is minus 2P cos theta. So I'll get tan alpha is equal to minus 2P cos theta divided by Q into sine theta divided by my 2P minus 2P cos theta. So the 2P will get cancelled. So I can say it is equal to, okay, so something is going wrong here. Basically, if I have my cos theta with 2P, then it will work out better. So I am just sorry, it will work out now. So this is Q, this is P, this is R, which is P. So P squared plus Q squared plus 2PQ cos theta is equal to P squared, cancel. Q plus 2P cos theta is equal to 0. This I have with me. Now I'm doubling this. I am doubling this. So now this is the angle. This is 2P plus Q. So now I will talk of this angle alpha. Now it will work out. 2P cos theta. This is 2P. So this is 2P sin theta, 2P cos theta. Yeah, now it works out. So I'll have tan alpha is equal to 2P cos theta divided by Q plus 2P cos theta. Now Q is given to me minus, so this is 0. So I'll get tan alpha is equal to infinity. So I'll get alpha is equal to 90 degrees. The whole clue is to basically have it such that you have Q plus 2P cos theta is equal to together. So I put this as 2P and then it works out. Yeah. So yeah, some of them easy, some of them difficult. These are the logics which are being used. Two particles are projected from the same point such that with the same speed such that they have the same range but different maximum heights. Which of them are correct for them? So if you have two particles are projected, Okay, just a minute. Yeah, two particles are projected from the same point with the same speed u such that they have the same range. So they are projected with the same speed u. So if they have the same range, range means what? Range is this distance from here to here. So remember, any projectile motion, everything will depend only on the time of flight. So time of flight is very important. So this horizontal velocity is u cos theta, vertical velocity is u sin theta. So here u sin theta by g, this is the time taken to go up. So time taken to go up is time taken to come down. So this is the total time of flight. So 2u sin theta into u cos theta by g, this will give you the total range. So that is u squared sin 2 theta by g. This is equal to r, the range, right? Now they are asking if h1 and h2 are the different heights. So these are the range. Range is the same. Range is the same means, remember, if one is theta, the other one is 90 minus theta. If you send two at complementary angles, the range will be the same. Now the maximum height will become what? This is the time taken to go up is u sin theta. So half into g into t squared, u squared sin squared theta by g squared. G gets cancelled. So the maximum height h1 is equal to half of u squared sin squared theta by g. H2 will become, because it's a complementary angle, it will become half u squared cos squared theta by g, right? So from here, if I take, can I say that 2 times h1g by u squared plus 2 times h2g by u squared is equal to 1? Yeah, so that is one thing I can have. So from here, the options that they have given here, the trick is all to do with the options. R squared is equal to h1 h2, r squared is equal to 16 times h1 h2, r squared is equal to 4 times h1 h2, then r squared is equal to 2 times h1 h2. So this is what is the trick. So let me just multiply h1 h2, then automatically it will come. So if this is not required. If I multiply h1 h2, I'll get half, sorry, 1 by half u squared by g whole squared into sin squared theta into cos squared theta, right? So I need to multiply by 4 divided by 4. So from there I'll get it. So range is what? Range is, yeah. Okay, if I just do it neatly, it will come. We got half of u squared by g the whole squared sin squared theta into cos squared theta. This is equal to h1 h2, while range is equal to u squared sin 2 theta by g. So when you square it, it will become u squared sin squared 2 theta by g squared is equal to some x squared into, this will become 1 by 4 u squared by g squared sin squared theta into cos squared theta. So it's very simple. So here I can get a 4 here, cancelling these. Then u squared, g squared will get cancelled. So I can say now that if this side has to be this side, then x squared is equal to 16. So x will become equal to 4. So clear? So we'll get 16 times. So we will get 16 times. So if you multiply h1 h2, it will become 16 times. 16 times h1 h2 will become g squared. Yeah. I mean, one thing that I see with all these cases is that you have to just keep persevering. There is no standard theory here. The standard theory is simple, just that you have to keep practicing. Next question: a particle is moving with a speed v, where b is equal to root over of x along the positive x direction. So particle is moving along the positive x direction with this kind of a velocity. V is equal to root over of bx. Calculate the speed of the particle at time t. Assume that the particle is at the origin. So they want to calculate the speed of the particle at some time. So how do we do it? So they have given option A is like b squared tau by root 2. Option B is b squared tau. Option C is b squared tau by 2. Option D is b squared tau by 4. So try to work this out. Let me see. I'll also help you out if I'm able to. They're asking you to calculate the speed as a function of time. Not bad. So I know that v is equal to dx by dt. So dx by dt is equal to b root x. So from there, can I say that t is equal to integral dx by b root x? Yeah. So when you work it out, you will get what will you get? You integrate this, you work. Let me see. So you will. So when you work this out, you will get 1 by b integral dx by root x is equal to t. So you will get root x is equal to bt by 2. So from there you will get x is equal to b squared t squared by 2. So from that you will get v is equal to dx by dt. So it will become 2b squared t 2b squared t by yeah. So you'll get root x is this, so x is by 4 by 4. So this will get cancelled and you'll get option C. Try to work it out. V is equal to b times root x. V is equal to dx by dt. So dx by dt is equal to b root x. Cross multiply, get the value, and then you will see. Okay. Then, if you are getting it, the trajectory of a projectile near the surface of the earth, y is equal to 2x minus 9x square. If it were launched at an angle theta 0, if it were launched at an angle theta 0 with speed v0, then theta 0 is equal to cos inverse of 1 by root 5 and v is equal to 5 by 3 meter per second. The trajectory of a projectile near the surface of the earth is given this way. They have given you the trajectory. They are asking you what is the angle of projection and the velocity. Theta 0 is equal to cos inverse of 2 by root 5. V0 is equal to 3 by 5. Sine inverse of 2 by root 5. V0 is equal to 3 by 5. Sine inverse of 1 by root 5. V0 is equal to 5 by 3. Yeah, so they have given you these values. They are asking you to calculate what is the angle of projection. This is the equation given. Y is equal to 2x minus x squared. This is the equation of the projectile. So I'll quickly explain to you how you get that. So basically you have a projectile here which goes this way. So if a projectile is going this way, understand that the x coordinate of the projectile is always going to be equal to u cos theta t. This velocity is u cos theta. So x is always going to be equal to this. Whereas when you look at the y will become u sine theta t minus half g t squared. U sine theta t minus, so in the upward direction, s is equal to ut minus half gt squared. So I have written that. Now here I know t is equal to what? X by u cos theta. So if I substitute, I'll get y is equal to u sin theta into x by u cos theta minus half into g into x square by u square cos square theta. So now this is what we have to compare with y is equal to 2 times x minus 9 times x square. So from here you will get 1 tan theta is equal to 2. Yeah, tan theta is equal to 2, and you will get g by u square half g by u square cos square theta is equal to half g by u square cos square theta is equal to 9. So you have to solve these two and then you have to get. So how do we solve them? We can solve them, no problem. I will help you out. So let me shift color. So I'll have g by u squared is equal to g by u squared cos square theta is equal to 18. G is 10. So I'll put this as 1.8. 1.8. So I'll have cos squared theta is equal to 1.8 u squared. Then I will have tan theta is equal to 2. Tan theta is equal to 2 means tan squared theta is equal to 4. Tan squared theta is equal to 4 means 1 plus tan squared theta is equal to 5. Means secant squared theta is equal to 5. Means cos squared theta is equal to 1 by 5. So cos squared theta is 1 by 5. So 1 by 5 is equal to 1.8 u squared. So I'll get u is equal to 1 by 18 into 5 is 9. So I'll get u is 1 by 3. So once I get u is 1 by 3, some error. You have to be careful. Okay. It goes this way. U cos theta t is equal to x. Then y is equal to ut. U sin theta t minus half g t squared. So from there I'll get y is equal to u sin theta into by cos theta into t. T is x by u cos theta, right? So u gets cancelled, x minus half into g into t squared. T squared will become x squared by u squared cos squared theta. This is equal to y. This I have. So y is equal to tan theta x minus g is 10 given. So 5. 5 by u squared cos squared theta into x square. Now equation given is 2x minus 9x square. So here you have 5 by u squared cos squared theta is equal to 9. So cross multiply. So you will get u cos theta is equal to root over of 5 by 3. This is one equation that I have. Then you have tan theta is equal to 2. Here tan theta is equal to 2. So if tan theta is equal to 2, then you have 1 plus tan squared theta is equal to secant squared theta is equal to 5. So you have cos theta is equal to 1 by root 5. So you'll get u is equal to 5 by 3. So 5 by 3, then 1 by root 5. So cos inverse of 1 by root 5 and v is equal to 5 by 3 meters per second. So the first option. It's a difficult one only with respect to manipulating it, but otherwise it's a simple one. So I hope you are able to understand how we get this. See, thinking that you will remember this equation and work is not possible. It is not possible for you to remember each and every function, every formula that you have. What is possible is for you to work out. So this is how you work it out. All that I did is I could remember that how do you get the trajectory of this. So u cos theta, so x is equal to u cos theta t, y is equal to ut minus half gt squared. Get the value of t, substitute it here, compare it with this, and then get your answer. Please try to work it out. Okay. So if you are able to get it, then we will move ahead. There have not been many questions in the JEE advanced on this. So most of the questions which have come only in the JEE mains. JEE mains, basically they're stuck to still that one chapter. A shell is fired from a fixed artillery gun with the initial speed u such that it hits the target on the ground at a distance r from it. Yeah, a shell is fired from a fixed artillery gun with a speed u such that it hits the target at a distance r. So at a distance r from it, you have a target, and then a shell is fired such that it goes and it hits the target. Now this is distance is r, it is fired with the velocity u. If t1 and t2 are the values of the time taken by it to hit the target in two possible ways, then the product t1 t2. See, this is the same question which has come earlier. It came with h1 h2, now it is coming with t1 t2. So understand that only it is fired at complementary angles. So in the first case, the time is u sine theta by g. In the second case, it will become u cos theta by g. This is t1, this is t2. Now they are asking you to find the product t1 t2 in terms of r. So now r is equal to what? R is equal to u squared 2 times u squared by g sine theta into cos theta. Now if you multiply t1 t2, what will you get? You will get u squared by g squared sine theta into cos theta. This is equal to t1 t2. Now simply divide them. When you divide them, these two get cancelled. U squared, g will get cancelled, and you will get g. So you will get r by t1 t2 is equal to 2 times g. So t1 t2 is equal to r by 2g. So that is the option. Same question had come, but that time it was with a different. Yeah. So see if you are able to understand it. Oh. Okay, so see if you're getting it. If you're getting it, good. If not, no problem. We'll see. I'll explain to you again. So the last time they had given us something to do with H1, H2. So that's it. So with H1, H2, where they're given, this time they've given. All these questions are there in the last 2 years. So this year they gave one where they asked you for product of H1, H2. Last year in one of the exams, they had asked you for T1, T2. Okay, there is a projectile case with on an inclined plane. Let's do that. The theory will be interesting. So a plane is inclined at an angle of 30 degrees. So a plane is inclined at an angle of 30 degrees. So here, with respect to the horizontal, a particle is projected with a speed 2 from the base of the plane, making an angle 50. So from here, a particle is projected such that this angle here is 15. Now with respect to the plane, the distance from the base at which the projectile hits the plane is close to how much? They have given you g is equal to 10 meters per second. squared. Okay, so this is basically a case of a projectile from a inclined plane. This is 2 meters per second, and they have given you options. So they have given you options. The options are 14 centimeters, 14 centimeters, 14 centimeters, 18 centimeters, 20 centimeters, and 20 centimeters and 26 centimeters. Okay, so these are the options given. Now I somehow, okay, so let me try to help you out. See, first thing is, in our normal projectiles, what is the situation? Normal projectiles, the projectiles go this way. So we have this velocity u, which can be resolved into u sine theta, and you have u cos theta, and you have u cos theta. So u cos theta, we know what it is. U sine theta, we know what it is, right? And in the horizontal direction, there is no acceleration. So the horizontal range is equal to u cos theta into t. Now the concepts remain the same. Even in this case, the only difference between this projectile and your projectile is that in this projectile, suppose you straighten it. You say this is the inclined plane, and you have this. Now it is projected at an angle 15 degrees. Yeah. Now along the horizontal, you have a deceleration, and that deceleration is, see, if this is here, this is gravity. I can resolve the gravity into two components. One is g sine theta and one is g cos theta. So in this case, in this direction is g sine theta, and in the vertical direction is g cos theta. So everything else is still the same. So even here, our time of flight will be this velocity will have two components, a horizontal component and a vertical component. So the vertical component is u sine 15. So u sine 15 by g cos theta is equal to the time of flight, time taken to go up. Time taken to go up is equal to the time taken to come down. Now they are asking you what is the horizontal range. So the range will be ut. Ut means what? It is u cos theta, u cos 15, t. T is what? 2u sine 15 by g cos theta. This theta is 30 degrees. Okay, g theta minus half a t squared. A t squared, a will become what? G sine theta. So half g sine theta t squared. T squared will become 4u squared sine squared 15 by g cos squared theta. So this will give me the range. There is nothing else. Now the only problem for me in doing this question is, how do I know what is the value for 15 degrees? Theta is equal to 15 degrees means, how do I know the sine and cos? So that is where I will face some kind of a problem, but not impossible. But even before I do this, I'll assume this to be a horizontal projectile and find out what is the range. So the range will become u squared sine 2 theta by g. So u is how much? U is given to me as 2 meters per second. So 4 into sine 30 by g. G is equal to 10. So sine 30 is how much? Sine 30 is half. So I'll get 20. So my answer definitely has to be less than 20 degrees. In this case, it will be much less than 20 degrees. So even without me doing anything, I will try to go for an option which is slightly less than 20 degrees. That should give me the best answer. U squared sine squared theta. Okay, I'm not sure if you understood this, but anyway, I'll do it again for you. In a normal projectile, point number 1, in a normal projectile, time of flight is equal to u sine theta, 2u sine theta by g. Even here, it will be the same. It will be the same. This is normal projectile. This is inclined projectile. In this case, what happens is the horizontal velocity is u cos theta, no doubt. The vertical velocity is u sine theta, no doubt. Then again, in this is inclined, right? So because it is inclined, if you have gravity like this will become g sine theta, this will become g cos theta. So this is g cos theta, and this acceleration will become g sine theta. Everything else is the same, right? So now when the particle is going this way, and now time of flight, here it is this much, here time of flight will become 2u sine theta by g cos theta. Okay, so this is the time of flight. Then here range is equal to u cos theta into 2u sine theta by g. In this case, the range will become ut minus half g t squared, which if I substitute will look like this. U is u cos theta into 2u sine theta by g cos theta minus half g sine theta into 4u squared sine squared theta by g squared cos squared theta. So this g gets cancelled. So you will get this cos theta gets cancelled. So it will become 2u squared sine theta by g minus 2u squared sine cube theta by g cos squared theta. So this is what you can do. Yeah, so this is what I can say. Now I can do some commonalities here. If I take 2u squared by g common, sine theta common, it will become by cos squared theta into, it will become cos squared theta minus sine squared theta, that is cos 2 theta. So this will give you the final answer. Okay, you may substitute and then get it, but yeah, this is the theory. You can't remember any of these. You have to work it out and then get it. So it all depends on how desperate you are to get your answer. There are two aspects I will tell you though, that the range in this case, because of the deceleration, should be less than what it was in a plane horizontal. So here what I thought is, I'll try to be smart and I will find out what is the distance if it was a straight horizontal. I see that the distance when it is a straight horizontal is 20 centimeters, and even if you substitute this, you get the same value. That is why I was kind of bold, clean bold, and not bold in the sense the other bold. So that is why I didn't try to find out any shortcuts. So otherwise, this is what you have to do. If you understand, great, work on it. What I see is that these days the questions are not very simple questions. You need to work them out. You need to have to work them out from the basic theory. And I hope I was able to communicate the basic theory of a projectile motion. The basic theory of a projectile motion is first find out the time of flight. Once you get the time of flight, then you can get the range. Okay, and this is the only question on inclined projectiles that I have seen. I have never seen any other question based on inclined projectile before. Okay. Yeah, so if you get this, great. I will do one more nice question. Then, so the next question is this: a ball is thrown upwards with an initial velocity v0 from the surface of the earth. The motion of the ball is affected by a drag such that force is equal to m gamma u square, where m is the mass of the ball, u is the instantaneous velocity, and gamma is a constant. U is the instantaneous velocity, gamma is a constant. Now they are asking you the time taken by the ball to reach its highest point. Time taken by the ball to reach its highest point. So let's try to find out. So now the ball is here, the ball is going up. When the ball is going up, there's a downward force mg. Apart from the downward force mg, there is a downward force m gamma u square. Yeah. So can I say acceleration is equal to g plus gamma u square, especially for upward force? So deceleration. So I'll say minus a. So I'll say minus dv by dt is equal to g plus gamma. I'll say u here, so that u square. So from here I can say that dt is equal to du by root over of, so no root over of, g plus gamma u square. Initially u is v0, and finally destination at the maximum height. Initially v is equal to v0, at the maximum height it is 0. So I can say t is equal to integral v0 to 0 minus du by g plus gamma u square. Now you can integrate this and then get me the value. Now how will you integrate this? This is of the formula, this is of the format ax square plus b. So you can find out what is the integral of this, some tan inverse. So when you integrate, you will get it as 1 by root over of gamma g tan inverse of root over of gamma g into v naught. Work it out, you will get it. So it is your ability to understand how to go ahead with it. See, one thing that I see many people make mistakes is, the moment they read a question, they want to know a formula which can be used. Especially with physics, they think about that. Now that is not possible. All these questions can be done easily if you try to scribble something. So in this case, all that you have to do is that the body is going up. Body is going up with some velocity. There is a drag on it. The drag is equal to mg plus m gamma u squared, where u is the instantaneous velocity. So now I know from this is the downward force. So the acceleration is equal to what? G plus gamma u squared. So du by dt is equal to this much. That's it. There's nothing else here. So all that you need to know is how to integrate this. So now once the moment you know this format, then it becomes very easy. Okay. Then see, this question cannot be done by using dimensions. It cannot be done by using dimensions because yeah, so you cannot you do it using dimensions because all the options had the same dimensions. So there was nothing wrong, nothing that you could do as far as the dimensions was concerned. Okay. So if you can work it out, if you want me to explain again, I'll explain again. See, there's a particle here. The particle is pushed up with some velocity v0, but it is facing some drag. So the drag is a downward force. Any frictional force is a force opposite to translation. So the downward force will become mg plus m constant u squared. So from here I know that the deceleration is equal to g plus gamma u squared. So minus dv by dt is equal to g plus gamma u squared. So from there I'll get dt is equal to du by g plus gamma u squared. So the integral of this from 0 to t, this will become from initial velocity to final velocity. Yeah, initially it has some velocity v0, and at the zenith, now in this case, one thing that I can tell you is time taken to go up will not be equal to the time taken to come down. There will be a difference between them. Anyway, so this is what it is. So once you get this, now this integral will give you the time taken to reach up. You just have to find out. Now this is taking the format integral of yeah. So you can basically you'll have to work on this. So all that you need to know is you need to know how to do the integral for this. So this is taking the format dx by x square plus a square. So that is tan inverse of x by a. So the answer has to be tan inverse. Now you have to identify what is x, what is a. Okay, so that is it. Yeah, so let us do one final question. This is an easy one. So the r vector is given as 15 t squared I cap plus 4 minus 20 t squared j cap. They are asking you what is the acceleration at t is equal to 1. They are asking you what is the acceleration at t is equal to 1. So the way you go ahead with it is this. So if r vector is given, yeah, acceleration is equal to d squared r by dt squared, which is equal to dv by dt. So first find out what is v equal to. So v is equal to 30 t I cap minus 40 t j cap. So dv by dt will become equal to 30 I cap minus 40 j cap. Now they have given you options as to 40, 50, 50, 25, 40, 100. So this is equal to 50 because root over of 30 squared plus 40 squared. Yeah, so from there you will get it. What I am seeing is basically all these questions need us to work. Some standard theories are there. We have to apply those standard theories. And work. That is it. These are not formula oriented. No formula can give you answers for this, right? Okay, so this is where I'll stop. I'll see you again tomorrow, and then we'll work. I'm not exactly sure what you guys want. So I'm discussing chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. I'm doing the previous questions with the hope that I can teach you how to approach these problems. I'm not sure if it is helping you, but I can help you. This is the logic. If you have some other better options, like if you can tell me that work out this chapter, work out this chapter. My intention is to work out serially chapter number 1, 2, 3, 4. Each chapter, if we can work out 15, 20 questions, especially the ones which came in the last 1 or 2 years or 3 years, I think it will be helpful. So that's what I'm trying to do. But if you have better options, if you think that no, if you do this, it will be better, it will be good. Again, I feel that some of these questions are quite difficult. They can't be just done. I'm taking up them up impromptu. I'm not working them out before and then come. Most of these questions, I'm seeing them for the first time now. So some of them I have to work it out once or twice before I really get the answer. So you tell me if you have better options. You please tell me. I intend to take up questions which have come in the JEE Advanced also. From this chapter, there aren't many questions which have come from the previous chapter. Quite a few have come, but they are quite much more difficult than what we have seen. So that is why I'm a little hesitant to do. But subsequently, from 4s onwards, definitely I'll take up a few questions which have come in the JEE Advanced also. But if you have better options, if you can think there's a better way to approach this whole thing, this is my number. Please feel free to message. I'll do. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Sir, can't we write the displacement equation in x and y axis and use tan 30 is equal to y by x for the inclined plane question? Okay. Sir, it will be better once if we read the question. Can you please share the question? Okay, next class onwards, I'll share the question. Sir, cos square theta will be in denominator. Okay, fine. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, next time onwards, I'll share the questions with you. Then, yeah, so these questions, I'm taking them up first time. I've not seen them before. So I'm taking them up for the first time as I'm working along with you, because that is where I feel that, you know, it's a genuine effort will show. Because I can prepare on them and work them out and then come and tell you that they are all very easy and this is the way to approach it. That's not what my intentions are. My intentions are to approach it from the fundamental theory that we know. Yeah, this thing that you are saying, Tarun, that can we write the equation in terms of x and y and use tan theta is tan 30 is equal to y by x? for the inclined plane question. Yeah, let me just look at it. Let me look at it, and then maybe we'll be able to get it. I'm not sure about it. I have to work it out to see. If we are getting it, great. But yeah, so let me work it out and then come back to you again. You also work it out and see if you're getting it. It is the same thing. I've just taken up the previous questions which have come in the last 2 years. Okay, so fine. Next time onwards, I'll share the questions with you. Yeah, bye.